Hi everyone, welcome back to Alice and the Giant Bookshelf. Today's video is my TBR for September. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name's Alice and I have way too many books. And in the interest of getting through some of those books, here is my September to be read video. There are several readathons going on in September. Thanks BookTube. There are definitely two main readathons I will definitely be participating in September without question. There are another two that I am pretty sure I'm also going to do at least something towards. So we're going to start with Shaketember. And last year in September, I devoted quite a lot of time to participating in Shaketember, which, as the name suggests, is all about reading Shakespeare. And I had hoped that between September, where I read 3 Shakespeare plays for the first time since school, and now I would have read some more Shakespeare plays. I set myself a target of reading 5 Shakespeare plays this year. Have I read any Shakespeare plays? No. So we need to rectify that in September. Shaketember is hosted by 3 hosts: Jason at Old Blues Chapter and Verse, Lukas at A Cruel Reader's Thesis, and Rainey at Rainy Day Reads. And each of those 3 people has chosen a play. And each of those 3 have chosen 2 sonnets this year. So these are plays that you can join in with reading, and I really like the vibe of Shaketember and how you can join in and read whatever Shakespeare you like. The 3 plays that are going to be being read by Jason, Lukas and Rainey, who will all be making their own videos about these as the weeks go on. So the first week's play is All's Well That Ends Well, which I've never read. I would really be interested in reading this, but I'm going to go easy on myself and see if I get time for any additional Shakespeare after I've done my main plan. The second play that's being read by the group is Coriolanus. I've also never read this one, and again, I'm interested. Time permitting, I will definitely pick one of these 3. And the third play being read is Midsummer Night's Dream. This is one of my favourite Shakespeares, and it's definitely the Shakespeare that I have seen the most performed. So I know this play quite well, although I haven't actually read the text. So this will be quite an enjoyable one to join in and read, because I already have a good idea in my head of what the storyline is, and I think it really does help with Shakespeare if you have even a vague idea of what the storyline is going to be, so that you can follow it more easily. So those are the 3 that are being read by the group. They are also going to be reading 6 sonnets. I will link all of the information in the description down below. I really think that it is high time I read some Shakespeare sonnets, because I've probably only read a couple in my lifetime, and it would be really good to join in and read some of these sonnets and listen to discussion about them. And that is definitely something I feel I can fit in, so I will be joining in with that part. My own spin-off plan from Shaketember for a long time now has been to read 2 works that I think will go well together. I am one of the people in the world who has not yet read Maggie O'Farrell's Hamnet. This is a story based on a part of Shakespeare's own life, but with Shakespeare playing a much more peripheral part in it, I believe. But this event in his life is said to be quite a lot of the inspiration behind Hamlet, I believe, or at least he named the character very similarly to his child Hamnet, who this book is about. My plan is to read Hamnet and then to follow up and read Hamlet, the play, which I have never read before. I have previously read like the first couple of scenes, I think, and again, this is one that I have seen performed once. I'm going to be reading this with 4 lovely booktubers who have agreed to read Hamnet and Hamlet with me, and that's going to be Jack from Spread Bookjoy, Kristen from Enter the Book, Lisa from Lisa in Bookland, and Ray from Ray of Sunlight. Really looking forward to reading and discussing these books. Moving on to the second readathon that I will definitely participate in. This is Shorty September, and this is being hosted by Pastorytime and Soggy Expat Book Nerd. I will try and show you on the screen somewhere the brilliant prompt sheet that I believe Heather from Soggy Expat Book Nerd and her daughter came up with, that showcases all 12 of the prompts. I will put the prompts in the description down below along with all the channel details. I do have a lot of short books that I've pulled from my bookshelf, and for me a short book is probably under 250 pages. That's what I've gone with anyway. So this part of the video is definitely more of a pile of possibilities than a TBR, because unless I say that it's a buddy read, I will likely mood read from this stack of books, because it's quite a big stack of books. I found at least 13 possibilities, so I won't be reading all of them. I put them in order from shortest to longest, and we're starting out at around 50 pages. I was sent 2 books for my birthday by the lovely Charlie Brooke. Charlie sent me The Master's Tools Will Never Dismantle the Master's House by Audre Lorde. This is, I think, a series of a couple of essays. According to the back here, these essays are soaring and urgent, and they are on the power of women, poetry and anger, and they are filled with darkness and light. So I'm really looking forward to this little 50-page short book. That's my first pick for Shorty September, and I should be able to get to it as it's only 50 pages. Secondly, we have Arthur Conan Doyle's book, lot number 249. I believe this one's a short story. This is just over 50 pages as well, so I'm hoping to get to this one as well, and I think this is about a supernatural Egyptian mummy. Thirdly, and the only library book in the stack, coming in at 150 pages, we have Ghost Wall by Sarah Moss. I've shown this a few times now on my channel. I've had it out of the library for a while and I haven't got to it, and I did think about taking this back to the library, but a few people have highly recommended it to me, so I thought I would stick with it. I may get time to read this as it's so short in the month of September, so let's hope so. Next, I have a very large book, but it's not this whole book. This is an omnibus of the Aurora Teagarden Mysteries Omnibus 2 by Charlene Harris. I have read all 4 that are collected in Omnibus 1, but I have not read any of the 4 in Omnibus 2. So I had a little look, and the first book is called Dead Over Heels. And although they are quite large pages, because this book is a bit larger than a normal book, there are only 158 of these big pages, and I think it doesn't start till about page 5 anyway. I may well read Dead Over Heels. These are usually murder mysteries, so I may well get to one of these. I've been meaning to get on with this omnibus for a very long time. Next up, we have one that I'm definitely planning to read, because this is going to be a buddy read with Nikki from Red Dot Reads, and Nikki kindly agreed to read this with me after I showed it in my Try a Chapter tag recently, and that is Amsterdam by Ian McEwan. And this one comes in at 178 pages, and I already did read the first part of the first chapter, so maybe a little bit of a head start there, I don't know. But Nikki and I are both hoping to read this for Shorty September, so that one is a definite. Next up, at 204 pages, we have The Colorado Kid by Stephen King. I bought this on a whim a while ago, I think in a bargain deal from a supermarket. I think it was probably 3 for 2 or similar. Yeah, and this one's even got pictures in it, so it's definitely quite a short read because the print is quite large. Yeah, I don't know what to expect from this, because this is a Stephen King, but it's published by this Hard Case Crime, so I'm assuming it's a crime book. The blurb makes it sound like it's a crime book, and it also says that it has echoes of Dashiell Hammett's The Maltese Falcon, which is a classic crime book that I read quite a long time ago and really enjoyed. Next up, I couldn't go through a September without reading some Agatha Christie, and I say that because on the 15th of September, I believe it is Agatha Christie's birthday. So I like to read something for her birthday, and I've chosen a book that would also fit for Shorty September, and I've had this on my shelf for a while too. In fact, I have 2 copies of it, and that's Star Over Bethlehem by Agatha Christie Malawan. This is one of the books that Agatha Christie wrote later in life that isn't a crime book, hence she has her second married surname on it as well, Malawan. I thought that this was just a book of poetry, but apparently it has some stories in it as well. I thought this would be a good one to be reading around Agatha Christie's birthday, and I do have some plans for celebrating Agatha Christie's birthday again this year, so stay tuned if you like Agatha Christie content for those. Next up, you will have seen this in my Brighton book haul, and it's one I'm absolutely terrified of reading, but it only clocks in at 212 pages, and again they are quite large print and quite widely spaced, and this is The Midnight Club by Christopher Pike. I read this, or at least some of it. I'm not sure if I finished the book, probably did, but I was so freaked out by this, so I'm going to read this, and I'm going to, when it comes out in October, watch the Netflix adaptation, and I will report back to you on how I get on and whether I have a complete meltdown. Might have to put this in the freezer to keep myself safe from it, you never know. Can't say I'm looking forward to this one, but I will likely read it towards the end of September so that it can be part of Shorty September, but I can also watch the adaptation as soon as it comes out in October. Next up, I haven't actually shown this one in a video yet, but this was hauled in the month of August as well because I found it in a charity shop in Canterbury for 50p. And I really can't resist when books are 50p. And it's written by an author who, her latest book that I read this year is just still one of my absolute top favourite books of the year, and that was Fight Night by Miriam Taves. And I've been looking for more books by Miriam Taves ever since, and this one is Women Talking by Miriam Taves. And it sounds very strange. It's 216 pages long, so it would be perfect for Shorty September. And I think I'll read you the back of this because it sounds really strange. It says, between 2005 and 2009, in a remote Mennonite colony, over 100 girls and women were raped by what many thought were ghosts or demons. Their accounts were dismissed as wild female imagination. Women Talking is an imagined response to these real events. When the women learn the truth, they meet secretly to discuss how to protect themselves and their daughters from future harm, but they have just 2 days to decide before the rapists are bailed out and brought home. So I really don't know entirely what to expect from this, but I so enjoyed Fight Night that I would read anything at this point by Miriam Taves if it was put in front of me in a charity shop for 50p. So I'll give this one a go, maybe in September. Next up, I will definitely be reading this one as well because it's my second buddy read of the month, and this is a buddy read with Gemma from Gemma Books. We're going to be reading The Jungle Book by Rudyard Kipling because we both have it on our giant TBRs. And this one is about 217 pages in my edition, and I really love this cover with the tiger on it. I've never read The Jungle Book. Don't think I've watched the Disney film all the way through because we were a non-Disney household. I might have watched it when I was teaching because The Jungle Book was a theme of a book week that we did. I still didn't read the full version of it because it was a bit old for the children in my class, so I think we read a picture book version and watched the film. Really looking forward to getting to this with Gemma, and it's one we're definitely picking up in September. Next up, I have just filmed another book haul that I had over the summer. So you won't have seen that yet by the time this video comes out, but I did buy The Midwich Cuckoos by John Wyndham, and I would really like to read this and watch the new TV series of this starring Keeley Hawes. I'm going to plan to read this for definite in September, and this one clocks in at 220 pages. So that's another one hopefully I can get done in Shorty September. Next up, I've got two left, and one is a Dick Francis book, and it's high time I read some more Dick Francis because if you've watched my giant TBR video recently, you will notice there were more Dick Francis books than anything else on the TBR, and I love these books, so I do need to get to them. This one's 223 pages long, and it's the shortest one that I could find. Most of them are just over 250 pages. Some of them are 300 or 400 pages, but they're all really gripping, the ones I've read so far. So I will attempt to get to Trial Run by Dick Francis. These are usually set in the world of horse racing, which is where author Dick Francis spent much of his career. And yeah, this one is about an ex-steeplechaser. We will see how I get on with that one. And finally, we have a Josephine Tay book, which just slipped in under the 250 mark that I'd set for myself at 246 pages. And it's The Singing Sands by Josephine Tay. I've had quite a few requests for me to read this when I put up what should I read off my giant TBR for try chapters. I didn't read this in a try chapter because I knew I would want to read the whole thing. Yeah, The Singing Sands by Josephine Tay. Not sure what this one's about, but I think it has Inspector Grant in it, who appears in a few of the Josephine Tay books. And I always enjoy these sort of classic mysteries. Yeah, that's the last one I might get to for Shorty September. There are other things going on in September apart from these two readathons, which are my main ones. Also going on is Series September, which is being hosted by Books and Jams and Sarah's Nightstand. And hopefully somewhere on the screen I will show for you the bingo board for this one. I will definitely not be able to complete a bingo board, but I'll share all the prompts with you in the description down below, because I think this is a great readathon to get involved in if you have started some series. I'm not going to talk about my series today because I have started and not finished so many series. If you are a reader of crime and thrillers, you will start series and you will not finish them for a very long time, because authors tend to be pumping out more in the series, and even if they're not, there can be quite a lot of them. So I will be making a separate video to celebrate Series September, which will be all about all of the series that I've started and not yet finished, and hopefully within that video I'll be able to pick a few series books that I'm going to read for Series September. Even if it's only one series that I make some progress on, I would really like to do that. The other readathon that is going on that I really want to support is Tudortember, and this is hosted by the lovely Julie from Hungry Bookworm and the wonderful Lil from Lil's Vintage World. And every September they get together and they make Tudor content. Different Tudor content from both of them. So if you love the Tudors, do go and check out their two channels, which will be linked down below. Both Julie and Lil are hosting read-alongs of Tudor books, neither of which I have, so neither of which I will be able to read this month because I'm trying really hard not to read books that I don't have. I will be participating in Tudortember by continuing to participate in the Tudor Along, and the Tudor Along in September will reach the book Jane Seymour by Alison Weir. I don't own this book, but I am going to own the audiobook. I've been listening to the Anne Boleyn book recently, so I may actually give myself a break before I start on Jane Seymour. I know a lot less about Jane Seymour and the Seymours than I do about the earlier two Tudor queens, Catherine of Aragon and Anne Boleyn. If you haven't discovered the Tudor Along yet and you'd like to read the 6 Tudor Queens books by Alison Weir, it's being hosted by Gemma at Gemma Books, Danny from Danny's Book World and Emily from Novelle Novels, and I'll link all the details down below. I have 2 more things to mention. One is a buddy read, and that is The Cutting Room by Louise Welsh, and I'm delighted that I'm going to be reading this with Janelle from Too Fond of Books, because I have never done a buddy read with Janelle yet, and we have a lot of similar tastes in books, especially mysteries and crime. This I don't think is a mystery and crime. I don't know. I think this is just literary fiction, but we will see. It's been on my shelf for a very long time. It's definitely in my tin, which is just behind me, so it will be good to get it off the giant TBR. And finally, I do just want to mention one other read along that I am continuing to participate in, and that is the Killer Reads Thriller Month Book Club, which is hosted by AJ Dunn Reads and Writes. AJ has a wonderful channel. Definitely go and check them out in the description down below. But I have fallen behind on the Killer Reads Thriller Month book club, which is reading one thriller a month from Penguin Random House's top 60 thrillers of all time. I've fallen behind because I haven't yet finished July's book, which was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and I'm listening to that one on audio, and I haven't yet started the August pick, which was Strangers by Dean Koontz, but I definitely do want to read that because people in the group have really enjoyed it, especially AJ, I believe. I do want to read all of the 60 on that list, and there are some that I've already read, so there are some months coming up where I won't be reading the book. I will just be joining in because I've already read the book. Let me tell you what the book is for August. It is Eileen by Ottessa Moshfegh. I haven't read any of Moshfegh's books, although I have seen recently on Scott's channel, Gunpowder Fiction and Plot, that this author writes very disturbing and disgusting things at times, so I'm very intrigued to try Eileen. I would have to get this from the library or on audio if I was going to get it, and I am really trying to read as many as possible from the giant bookshelf, so I don't know whether I will actually get to Eileen in September, but I think I'm going to try to read it in September. I might start the Dean Koontz book in another month when there is a book that I've already read. So I will definitely catch up on that list of 60 books at some point. Just unfortunately, I have fallen behind a little bit. That, I believe, is hopefully the end of my very long TBR list and pile of possibilities for September. Really looking forward to some more Shakespeare in Shaketember. I'm really looking forward to getting lots of my shorties read for Shorty September. Looking forward to looking through my series for Series September. And hopefully I will also manage to read that Tudor book for Tudortember. Do let me know if you're participating in any of these booktube events next month. Do let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books. If you think there are any of these shorties that I should definitely prioritise, let me know. Please do give this video a like if you've enjoyed it, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. I do hope to see you all again soon for another video all about books here on Alice and the Giant Bookshelf. Bye for now.